Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in information? You're trying to make a big decision, but it's all so complex? Well, the secret isn't just about getting more data. It's about having a blueprint to make sense of it all. And that's what we're diving into today. Frameworks. These are the essential mental models we need for understanding our world, especially when it comes to leadership.
So how do we even start building one of these blueprints? Well, instead of kicking off with some dry, boring definition, let's start with a puzzle. It's a simple idea from the business world you've definitely heard before, but as you're about to see, it's not quite as simple as it looks.
Here it is. This is basically the golden rule of customer service, isn't it? If your employees are happy, that good vibe will just spill over and you'll get satisfied, loyal customers. I mean, it just feels so intuitive. It feels right. And that, right there, is our puzzle. We're going to take this piece of common wisdom and really put it to the test. We'll use this one simple question to build a blueprint for thinking, to see if this truth actually holds up when we look a little closer. Okay, so if we're going to solve this puzzle, we can't just wing it. We need the right tools. And in the world of structured thinking, our most basic, most powerful tool is the hypothesis. It's how we go from a vague feeling to a really specific, testable idea. The key phrase here is starting point. See, a hypothesis isn't supposed to be the final answer. Think of it as your best educated guess. It's the first draft of our blueprint, a clear statement that we can then go out and try to prove, or, just as importantly, disprove. So let's get specific. We take that general belief and we turn it into this clean, testable hypothesis. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to investigate this claim: happy baristas increase customer satisfaction. Simple as that.
All right, we've got our hypothesis locked in. The big question is, how do we actually test it? Well, let's take a look at a real-world experiment that did exactly that.
And just so you know, this isn't just some made-up example. It's based on real research from way back in 1988 by Robert Sutton and Annette Raffaele. They were looking at this exact dynamic in convenience stores.
So, check out how they set this up. It's actually pretty clever. They split the stores into two types, the really busy ones and the slow ones. And within each of those types, some employees got special happiness training to be extra friendly, while the other group, the control group, got nothing. It's the perfect setup to see what really happens.
Okay, so the stage is set. You've got busy stores, slow stores. Some with super friendly employees, some without. What do you think happened? Because the actual results, well, they're what make this whole puzzle so interesting.
At first, everything seemed to be going exactly as you'd expect. The data started coming in, and yep, it looked like our hypothesis was spot on. In the slow stores, where nobody was in a rush, customers really did respond well to the extra friendliness. They were happier. It all makes sense. But, and this is the huge twist, in the busy stores with lines stretching out the door, that happiness training totally backfired. See, customers who were in a hurry didn't want a friendly chat. They wanted their coffee fast. They saw all that extra friendliness as just an annoying delay, and their satisfaction actually went down. So, what gives? How can this be? Well, it brilliantly shows that our simple, intuitive truth wasn't really a truth at all. It was conditional. The whole thing depended on the context. In a slow store, people value friendliness, but in a busy store, they value efficiency. Okay, let's zoom out from the coffee shop now and bring it back to the big idea. What does this little experiment really teach us about being a better thinker or a better leader? It teaches us that just relying on our assumptions can be incredibly dangerous. And this is exactly why we need frameworks. A framework is just a structured way of thinking that forces us to move past our gut feelings. It makes us stop and ask, wait, is this always true? What's the context here? It stops us from using a one-size-fits-all solution when the problem is way more nuanced than that. So this all boils down to three really crucial principles. First, always question your assumptions. Test them. Second, never forget that context is king. What works in one situation might totally fail in another. And third, use structured thinking. Use these frameworks to dig below the surface and find out what's really going on. You know, in the end, building a framework isn't about being rigid or robotic. It's about being rigorous. It's like an architect drawing up a detailed blueprint before they even think about laying a foundation. It makes sure that whatever you build, a business strategy, a team, even just an argument, is built on a solid foundation of evidence, not just wishful thinking. And so, that's the question we'll leave you with. Think about your own work, your own life. What's one of those untested truths? A happy employees equal happy customers kind of idea that everyone just accepts. Maybe it's time to build a little framework and see if it really holds up. You might be very surprised by what you find.